Translation: anyone in the entire world, even down to the Chandala, who lives by cooking and eating the flesh of the dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. Purport: real purification can take place in human society if its members take to Krishna consciousness. This is clearly stated in all Vedic literature. Anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness in all sincerity, even if he is not very advanced in good behavior, is purified. A devotee can be recruited from any section of human society, although it is not expected that everyone in all segments of society is well behaved. As stated in this verse and in many places in Bhagavad Gita, even if one is not born in a Brahmana family, or even if he is born in a family of Chandalas, if he simply takes to Krishna consciousness, he is immediately purified. In Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter verses 30 to 32, it is clearly stated that even though a man is not well behaved, if he simply takes to Krishna consciousness, he is understood to be a saintly person. As long as a person is in this material world, he has two different relationships in his dealings with others. One relationship pertains to the body, and the other pertains to the spirit. As far as bodily affairs or social activities are concerned, although a person is purified on the spiritual platform, it is sometimes seen that he acts in terms of his bodily relationships. If a devotee born in the family of a Chandala, the lower caste, is sometimes found engaged in his habitual activities, he is not to be considered a Chandala. In other words, a Vaishnava should not be evaluated in terms of his body. The Shastra states that no one should think the deity in the temple to be made of wood or stone, and no one should think that a person coming from a lower caste family who has taken to Krishna consciousness is still of the same low caste. These attitudes are forbidden because anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness is understood to be fully purified. He is at least engaged in the process of purification, and if he sticks to the principle of Krishna consciousness, he will very soon be fully purified. The conclusion is that if one takes to Krishna consciousness with all seriousness, he is to be understood as already purified, and Krishna is ready to give him protection by all means. The Lord assures herein that he is ready to give protection to his devotee, even if there is need to cut off part of his own body. Yasyam ritam alayasha shravana vagaha sadhya punati jagat ashva pachad vikuntaha soham bhavabhya upalabdha satirtha kirtish chindyam svabahum apiva pratikula vrittim. Anyone in the entire world, even down to the Chandala, who lives by cooking the flesh of the dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. So Lord Vishnu is speaking to Kumaras here. Here, Lord Vishnu is expressing his loyalty to his devotee, to his dedicated devotee, and he is expressing one aspect of love, and that is, if you love someone, you are ready to sacrifice. Here, the first thing that is mentioned is eating of dogs. Now, before you joined Krishna consciousness, you may have eaten meat, but not the dog's meat. Maybe you have eaten the pig's meat, or cow's meat, or chicken meat, or fish meat, and then you are wondering why this dog eating is mentioned. Who is eating dogs? But actually there is people who eat dogs on this planet. Like in China, where else they eat dogs? Anybody knows?
India.
Where?
India. I guess that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I know that in maybe Vietnam or Cambodia or some of these countries. Once devotees prepared prasadam in one home, and the neighbors were complaining about the smell of ghee and beautiful smell that devotees cooking. Then later they cooked dogs, and then devotees complained about the smell. So they like this smell. I heard that they put like corpse of a dog, and then it stays and decomposes. They put it in a big pot, and after some time they use it for food somehow, either cook it or I don't know if they eat it raw with some salt. But you can't imagine what people are eating. They are eating dogs, they are eating horses, just abominable things. Of course, we also, if we were eating meat, we were eating abominable things. So, Lord Vishnu is making a point that you may be very fallen, so degraded, and then if you have heard the glories of the Lord, then He becomes so obliged. He becomes so obliged to you that He is ready to cut off His arm. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada makes these amazing statements which are so universal and so powerful, like the first sentence of the purport. Real purification can take place in human society if its members take to Krishna consciousness. So sometimes people would accuse, or journalists would challenge Srila Prabhupada and say, you are brainwashing people, and he said, yes, the brain is dirty, it has to be washed. And people are giving all kinds of medicine and advice. We have so many experts on success, we have experts on happiness, and Srila Prabhupada has given in his teachings how can we really become peaceful and happy. So he says here, real purification is real purification. And he says this is clearly stated in all Vedic literature. Now, in his purport, there are statements that may be misused. Srila Prabhupada says, anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness in all sincerity, even if he is not very advanced in good behavior, is purified. So, one may say, well, I don't have a good behavior, but I can be purified. Now, the danger of this kind of conclusion is that actually, if you engage in bad behavior, you may commit offenses, and then you will not be purified. You will be contaminated. So, like we have apichet suduracharo, and Srila Prabhupada mentions this here in the Bhagavad Gita, where it says that one who is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly, even if he does something abominable. Now, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says this shouldn't be misused as an excuse. Shouldn't be misused as an excuse. So our mind is looking for excuses in the scriptures for our own attachments and our own shortcomings, and this is not honest. This is not honest. We shouldn't do that. This will not help us advance in Krishna consciousness. So one should be honest with himself. Like it is said at the beginning of the Bhagavatam that the truth is distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. So people don't understand that the truth, if they understand the truth about themselves and where they are at the moment and where they should go, then that this is for their own benefit. People are afraid to face the truth. People are afraid to face the reality of their own situation, of their own consciousness. Sometimes from within they get revelation, sometimes from without, somebody tells them, or there is an arrangement. And sometimes we think that we are very advanced, and then we get such a blow that we can't recover for a long time. We lose something, or lose a position, or fall down, and then everybody rejects us. And the fact that people worship you doesn't mean you're advanced. The fact that people respect you doesn't mean you're advanced. It's very dangerous. So therefore, whenever we get any praise, we should transfer it. We can thank the person. He says, "You're great. You're this. You're that." Yes, okay, but actually, it's not my credit. It's not my credit. If there were no Prabhupada, there would not be such and such das. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport Apichet Sudurachara, he's not quoting the Sanskrit, but it's these verses in the 9th chapter. And again, even if a man is not well behaved, so due to past habits, one might commit some inauspicious sinful activity, or by accident. Please remember this, by accident, not intentionally, not with the idea, I will get purified by the holy name. This is one of the offenses. Every morning, in many temples, devotees read the offenses, and one of them is to commit sinful activities, hoping that the power of the holy name will, neutralize this or rectify. So this is one of the offenses. One shouldn't think like this. And one wonderful thing about scriptures is that scriptures are teaching us how to think. We are thinking spontaneously, always. But actually, we don't know how to think. For example, we don't know how to think about another devotee. We may think this or that, I like him, I don't like him. But actually, Krishna is teaching us how to think about everything and about everyone. And this is the control of the mind. How to think. How to see things through the eyes of the scriptures. And we are reading, we are learning so that we can see things differently. And this purport is packed with meaning, and it's packed with instructions, and it's packed with challenges. So another thing that Srila Prabhupada is mentioning is that Vaishnava should not be evaluated in terms of his body. So Vaishnava may be black, white, man, woman, child, thank you, or old man, but he shouldn't be judged by the body. He may have deformed body. Sometimes may have deformed body, like bandit or whatever, or very ill, very sick. But it is stated here that we shouldn't judge the Vaishnava according to the body. Srila Prabhupada says these attitudes are forbidden because anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness is understood to be fully purified. Now you may question this sentence. It's not true. Anybody who takes, that means who started, is considered to be fully purified. How can one be purified in 1 month or in 1 year or in 10 years or in 100 years? But Srila Prabhupada continues, he is at least engaged in the process of purification, and if he sticks to the principle of Krishna consciousness, he will be very soon fully purified. So hope is there. And we respect that he has started this process. Now again, he makes the same point. The conclusion is that if one takes to Krishna consciousness with all seriousness, he is to be understood as already purified. So this, at least my understanding, is that this initial purification is there, which is enough to keep him going. And this should be respected. I think this is the invitation of this purport, that this should be respected. And Krishna is ready to give him protection by all means. So if one is engaged in devotional service, he is protected. He has taken shelter of devotional service. And what is his guarantee? How strong is his guarantee? It's so strong that if there is a need to cut off part of his own body, he is ready to do that. He's ready to do that. So Krishna is ready to sacrifice for his devotee. Another thing mentioned in the purport is, as long as a person is in this material world, he has two different relationships in his dealings with others. One relationship pertains to the body, and the other pertains to the spirit. So sometimes we have to act in terms of bodily relationships, like family relationships or friendly relationships. We were born in a certain situation, and then we have to act in this situation as good as we can. Now, Srila Prabhupada seems to justify or defend some lower class activities. If a devotee born in the family of a Chandala, the lower caste, is sometimes found engaged in his habitual activities, he is not to be considered a Chandala. In other words, a Vaishnava should not be evaluated in terms of his body. And there is a famous verse that Srila Prabhupada mentions but doesn't quote Sanskrit. The Shastra states that no one should think the deity in the temple to be made of wood or stone, and no one should think that a person coming from a lower caste family who has taken to Krishna consciousness is still of the same low caste. So sometimes people from India who were born in Brahmana families would criticize Srila Prabhupada and that he has initiated Chandalas, given them initiation, Chandalas from the West. So we mainly were born in families of meat eaters. They're considered mlechas and chandalas and yavanas. And the power of hearing about Krishna and the power of devotional service is so huge that Krishna becomes so obliged. We don't understand how grateful God is for any effort that we make. Why He is grateful? I think because He cares about us. He loves us. Every little thing that we do, Neha vikramanasho asti pratyavayana vidyate svapamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahatobayat. Even a little effort, a little devotional service can save a person from great dangers. And in his classes, Srila Prabhupada explains that one of the great dangers is to lose human form of life, to get lower form of life. So it is stated, even if one falls down in the next life, he will at least get a human body and get born either in a rich family or in the family of the Brahmanas or in the family of Vaishnavas. And he can continue. So we don't know how many lifetimes we need to get fully purified. Probably many of us will be born again. We can be liberated in this life, this is stated, but it depends how serious we become and how much we develop our desire to do that, to go back to Krishna, to achieve highest consciousness, to achieve perfection. It depends how much we want it. The price that is described is greed or lolam to attain Krishna consciousness. And how this can be developed? It can be developed in the association of those who have greed to attain Krishna consciousness. And we have association of devotees in ISKCON, but sometimes we neglect Srila Prabhupada. We don't read his books, we don't listen to his classes. Or sometimes we say, I can't understand Prabhupada's accent, Prabhupada's English. But if you continue to listen, I think you will learn his pronunciation. And I would like to encourage you to listen to Srila Prabhupada, even if you don't understand everything. And gradually, I think you will understand. And also there is transcribed lectures, so you can follow, you can read and listen. In English, if you don't understand English, then maybe in your language there is also transcripts and translations. Sometimes there is translations, there is a devotee translating, and you can hear also Prabhupada on the other ear. So, wherein there is a will, there is a way. If we like to hear from him, we will find a way how to hear from him. But if we are convinced that this is so beneficial. I remember in the beginning I was listening to Srila Prabhupada a lot, then I got initiated, then I was listening practically only lectures from my guru, and not so much. But still I was forced to read because I was translating. So I was reading, I was hearing Prabhupada's words. But it's very important to listen to Srila Prabhupada. He is our grandfather guru or grand-grandfather guru, and to develop a relationship with him. If you practice Krishna consciousness, you have this experience that you have a problem with your mind, or if you are a helper, you have experience that others have a problem with their mind. and or you have both. You have problems with your mind and you help others who have problems with their mind. So this, we see that devotees need shelter for the mind. They need shelter for the mind, and this is not so easy. But Shastra is given to give shelter for the mind. Actually, transcendental knowledge is the form of mercy. We, I think, rarely think about that transcendental knowledge is also mercy. We think it's something boring, I can't read, I don't understand most of it, and better I chant, eat prasadam, do some little service, and hope I will not go to hell. But there is so much opulence, there is so much value in the words of a pure devotee. So much value, so much help, so much protection in the words of a pure devotee. So much protection. And Prabhupada said these are his emotional ecstasies, his purports, and he has invested so much of his love there. And if we understand the mood of a pure devotee, then we will feel that he is always trying to protect us from Maya, from illusion, trying to protect us from suffering, trying to protect us from deviating again. Always trying to do that. Very protective. Devotees who met Prabhupada, they never forgot his care and his love. And sometimes it was very heavy. Sometimes he would be like in the Nrisimha mood. But they could feel that he really cares. You can know so much about everything, you can understand everything, you can see everything, but if you don't really care, it will be difficult for you to help people, and it will be difficult for people to accept your help. So both things must be there, knowledge and caring attitude. Then we can serve people nicely. And we always have this discussion, what is more important, projects or people? And so some people are into projects, they are into results. I heard one devotee say that, people come and go, but we will continue like this. At least I stay. Huh? What?
That hurts.
Aha. So, what is the purpose of the project? What kind of project? Any kind of project that one is doing. Actually, the purpose is to help people stay in Krishna consciousness, to help people develop their, awaken their dormant love. And you are not stupid. You can see if somebody is really interested in your welfare. If you sit with somebody and speak, and devotees felt exploited so many times that I'm used to achieve something. So we need to change this culture. We cannot go on like this. This movement will not make a significant contribution and make a big difference on this planet if we don't change this project orientation. And of course, project-oriented people, they can say, well, I'm doing this for people. Why I'm doing the project? But that doesn't mean that we have to neglect and burn out so many people to keep the project for other people. What about those who are already here? So for which people is your project which burns out so many people? For which people? Well, we have to preach. We have to get new people. We have to get new people who will leave. Is that preaching? So what about those who are here? Are you happy in Krishna consciousness? Will you stay forever here? in ISKCON, or you go to some other place. Now you may say, I was so abused in ISKCON that I don't want to stay. But Prabhupada didn't want us to leave. He wanted us to work to create ISKCON he wanted, and I believe it's a caring ISKCON, which cares for people. And there is one letter that we discussed with Prabhupada Charan Prabhu and Chandramukhi Mataji, or at least Mataji. And we, at least we are aware of this letter. This is a letter to Tejas Prabhu. He was complaining that nothing is going well, and we don't get life members, we don't get results. And Prabhupada said, Krishna doesn't want to see his devotee depressed. We are not after some result. All these activities are there just to engage us. They are not here that we kill ourselves. Something along these lines. And so, Krishna doesn't need anything from us. So we kill ourselves and burn ourselves and destroy our Krishna consciousness to achieve some result, and we leave. And is Krishna happy with this? Also we discussed what is the purpose of the temple? What is the purpose of our movement? I put it on Facebook and started asking devotees, and they started replying, oh, this and that, and this and that. One way we can say that the purpose of this movement is to attract people and keep them. Attract people and keep them. No, not attract people, engage them in hard work for Krishna and let them get fried very, very fully and completely, and let them run away, never to come back again, and let us bring new people who will run away. So this we need to change. And who is responsible for this change? All of us who are here, if we agree and if we are aware. We are responsible. We cannot expect anybody else to do this if we don't do it. We have to stop being a victim and start becoming a victor. Okay, thank you very much.
Do you want this letter? Would you like to read it?
Yeah, you have it. Oh, great. Oh, thank you. It's a letter from 72 December. My dear Tejas, please accept my blessings. I am in due receipt of your letter dated December 10, 1972, and I am very much disturbed to hear from you that you have become disturbed in your mind. Do not be disturbed. There is no cause for anxiety. You are doing your best to serve Krishna. That is very much appreciated. So do not lose enthusiasm out of frustration. That will spoil everything. Now, Krishna consciousness means we should always be satisfied and happy, not that we must work something impossible, becoming overburdened, and then because we are unhappy by so much trouble, we lose enthusiasm altogether and give up all hope. No. If too much endeavor is there, that is to be avoided. By all means, we must preserve our spiritual status. That is the point. Not that we are mad after big buildings, many devotees, life members, this, that. No. These are only ways to engage the devotees so that they may apply the principles of devotional living to some kind of work for practical realization of these principles. So it's all about everybody's self-realization, not about some external results or fame or whatever. It is not the result of the work we want. If only one person daily, if we sincerely preach to such one person in a day, that is sufficient. Never mind big programs. So my request to you is that you do not be bothered by these things. And I have instructed Tamal Krishna and Shama Sundar to send you men, so they will do it. Rest assured. Krishna does not like to see his sincere devotees suffer or become frustrated or depressed. He will not stand idly by any such. He will not stand idly by in any such case. So do not fear on that account. Krishna has got some plan for you. Always think in that way, and very soon he will provide everything to your heart's desire. So now there is other in the letter, other things. Any questions or comments?
I have a question, but I need a phone. I need to read what you said. So it was in the purport, Srila Prabhupada speaks about not to judge this person by the body, but at the same time, just a second. Okay, this is what it is. As far as bodily affairs, as soon as activities are concerned, although a person is purified on the spiritual platform, it is sometimes seen that he acts in terms of his bodily relations. If a devotee is born in the family of a Chandala, the lotus caste, it's sometimes found engaged in his habitual activities. He is not to be considered a Chandala in other words. Vaishnava should be not evaluated in terms of his body. But he speaks about two things here. He speaks about activities connected to the body. So he speaks of activities. And at the same time he speaks about the body. So what is he talking about? I didn't really understand. Is he talking only about activities? Or how the activities are connected to the body? But then he said we shouldn't consider him to be, body means where he came from. But obviously that's connected the way he acts. So what exactly, if you can talk about this, because I'm not really clear what he means.
As far as I can understand, it's that it refers to both things. The body and the behavior and his origin, where he's coming from, all these things. So maybe the way he explains it creates some question, but I think it just refers to somebody who is Chandala and his body is there and his behavior is there and his habits are there, and Prabhupada says in other places that due to our previous habits we may do some activities that are abominable, but because one is fixed in proper determination, this will stop. These activities will stop. These habits will stop. So we have to have faith that he will actually come to a proper standard and behave as Vaishnava. Although sometimes he doesn't behave as a Vaishnava. And it's very dangerous to judge. It's also in the 931, I think, Abhichet Sudrachara, that. But at the same time, this same person who might do this is warned that you please don't use this as an excuse. This activity. You want to comment?
It's complicated, isn't it? In today's world, like you have somebody who smokes dope, like this is Chandala, this is low, really low, and then or you have somebody who steals, or somebody who is, all kind of stuff like that. So and then you have this person become a member of the society, and then these kind of activities are frowned upon. Really heavily frowned upon. We think, this is improper, and we can't have a person of performing such activity be part of our society. So there is that contradiction. what is the way to act. Now, at the same time, we need to give a person a chance, but at the same time, if a person does that over and over again, well, so this is very difficult balance to strike, you know. And also, we like a very, our policy as a managerially is like a uniform approach. One shoe fits all. So if I'm like this to you, I have to be like this to everybody else. I can't be personal to you and understand your problems, because then I will have to tolerate so many things, and I don't want to tolerate anything. So that's why I'm not going to tolerate anything, and if you're not able to follow, you off. So then so it's complicated. It's really complicated. So I'm not really sure what is he exactly referring here. You know, how far. He was very tolerant, isn't it? Srila Prabhupada was very tolerant.
Mostly, but sometimes he wouldn't tolerate some things.
Yeah, but most of the time he was actually really including and encouraging. And,
yeah.
But it's complex. Where is that line?
I think we have to be guided by the Super Soul in making decisions. For example, if you want to ban somebody from coming to the temple because they are really off, but I think it should be very, very carefully considered before we ban anybody.
Yeah, this banning business is a serious business. How can you actually ban somebody? You know, Krishna stays as a Paramatma in their heart, and you're banning him from coming. How is that benefiting the person? I understand if the person is engaged stealing, or I don't know, there could be many reasons why somebody...
Yeah, people steal in the temple also.
Sure. But at the same time, you need to be aware that there is a possibility like that, so you need to be conscious not to actually tempt people with such a habits, or...
To lock everything.
Yeah, or you know, be aware that there is a possibility that something like that shouldn't be for everybody just easily available. But to ban people to come and see Krishna, that's quite...
But there is people, like in Soho when we were there, I was a part of the temple council, so we discussed, can we ban this person? I mean, they come, they really, really poison people. They speak, against, they criticize, they want to take them to some other group, and so we just said we have to tell them not to come anymore.
Or you could tell them to come, but they are not actually welcome to speak about this.
We told them this already, but they don't follow.
Yeah.
We did that. Yeah. We, gave them a chance. Like, okay, you come, but and some do that. Some come and they don't make trouble, but they like to come and see the deities and everything. So I think it's you have to consider each case carefully. You cannot just, as you said, one shoe fits all. It has to be personal. Okay, any other? Yes?
I was just recently in a temple, and I spoke with some devotees, and they also have this kind of problem that they feel abused, and they feel, they're like the authorities, they're like, you have to do that, go like in a way of commanding than rather than serving. I also have this, many devotees told me that some devotees who are in the position of authority, they make it their business to engage people, according to their desire, and then if the person rebels, because he feels like, how can he do how can he speak to me like that? It's considered to be a weakness of a false ego, and then they even punch them more, So my question would be, well, how do we make this, this line that we should develop serving mood and tolerance, but in the same way, if we have to tolerate basically every day people who are not so kind, as soon as we live in a temple, and I also experienced that personally. Like in the beginning, very friendly, open, who could you please do that? And then after a while they lose that, and then they say you have to do this in a very aggressive way sometimes. So what should we do?
What we did in Soho, we made, it's called win-win agreement with practically every devotee. So this agreement will rule what one person does, not some boss or manager or if you agree that okay, I agree to do some things that are needful, but it's not that I'm super excited to do them, but because we need to do some things here, and I want to do some service or different services. But also, it's good to do something that you are inspired to do. I don't know, different things that maybe something you're inspired. And then, as time goes by, I see that some devotees specialize. They really focus on one service, and they become very good at that. And this becomes their maybe way of preaching. And there is another letter where Prabhupada gives instruction to the temple president to say that engage them according to their inclination. And so there has to be a balance between doing the needful and doing what we like to do. And if you want to be independent and just do what you like to do, you can do that, but then maybe you cannot live in the temple, live outside. But this thing that you say that in the beginning people are kind and then later they're rude or whatever, too commanding or something, I think this also needs to be changed, and it's not right. It's not right that, in the beginning we change the attitude towards people just because they have been around for some time. And I experienced when I joined some abuse, but not myself, abuse of others. Somehow I was lucky, people didn't. I was beaten by one Swami, but that was only once. Because I went out without a hat in Vienna. It's so dangerous. Then after 2 years, he left the movement and he had so many problems. But anyway, it's not a big thing. And I saw other devotees abused, verbally, emotionally. And I was thinking, I will never want to do this to anybody. Yes? Somebody? No? Yeah. Oh, just a moment. Is that okay? Or, yeah. Anyway, this is a big topic. Yes.
My point is that it's not that this kind of so-called abuse, in a sense, is expected, because, like in a war, at the beginning you have to fight, you have to preach, you have to go out, marathons, and you have to sacrifice, and then of course you have to, sacrifice your desires or your inclinations, and so you have to, everyone had done 10 hours Sankirtan, marathons, is like abuse in a way that you are striving, and so it's like
But you have agreed to do that, no? But you
agreed, yes, but still you are sacrificing that. Everybody else, but then you can maybe turn your mind and think this is abuse, or when you have to build something, build like a temple, build a community, or build have money, you need a lot of money, you need manpower and this and that. So maybe this is in a way maybe expected, this kind of things, because. But I don't want to defend this, but
you don't want to defend abuse.
Abuse, but still, there is this building things, being
collective effort.
Collective effort. Then maybe there is inevitable
sacrifice.
Inevitable.
But you have agreed to do that. If you agreed, then you don't feel abused. If you have agreed to do that. I think if you have agreed to do marathon and okay, I'm staying here, I'm going to do that. So, did you feel abused if you agreed?
No, what I wanted to say that yes, you agreed, but at the same time you upset some people that are like you have to go, you have to. Okay, but my point is that it cannot be a eternal marathon. I mean, then it should stop and
That's a good point. Yeah, eternal marathon.
And then you have to, when you build this house, and maybe there is some abuse or some sacrifice or this and that, but then when the house is built after so much effort, maybe mistakes, but then you have to live in the house and make this house a good place for people that live there.
Make life like normal, more livable or something.
Yes, that I want to say that maybe this abuse is at the beginning is acceptable in the sense that you have to push many people. Like in a war, you have to, like officer has to say go and fight, and people get killed. What can you do? I mean,
okay.
At the beginning, but then is
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't think bhakti is of that nature. So it needs to be very carefully when we justify harshness in the name of bhakti. Because bhakti cannot be justified by harshness. And cruelty never really comes close to bhakti. So I think this kind of mentality could be only justified because of the goal orientation and wanting to achieve material results in order to offer them to Krishna. But this kind of things, because they are materially motivated, then all this material contamination becomes part of it.
But how do we know what is materially motivated? I mean,
because
the leader says, I want to serve, please, Prabhupada.
Yeah, but
like
that's
guru.
what he says. But okay, even if he's my guru. But then Krishna said you have right to act, but you don't have a right for result. So if your aim is not to help the devotee purify and attain bhakti in the most gentlest of the ways, then you're missing the whole point of this philosophy. Now, being a guru, being whoever you want to be, if you actually don't present the philosophy in the line of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and this is being the conclusion of all the sadhus and previous acharyas, that this process is here for the individual. Everybody who actually want to pursue the project will end up like that. And we will actually have perpetuate abuse coming over and over and over again. Why? Because it's not anything else except missing the basic philosophical point. I'm not this body, I'm not the controller, and I'm not the enjoyer. Because from all of these three aspects it comes that I actually have to have results. Because I don't understand that I'm not this body, I don't understand who controls everything, and I don't understand that I am not here as a devotee to enjoy. So this is a very serious philosophical misconception which leads to very serious abuse over and over again. But bhakti is not of that nature. And bhakti gets actually completely destroyed. Because all of this, what Sajjana Prabhu was talking about, is actually Khatimata. It's a wild elephant offense, which actually destroys creeper bhakti to the root. So this is dangerous. But this comes from a deep philosophical ignorance. Because we are ignoring the fact, which is being repeated, that I'm not this body, I'm ignoring the fact that I'm not the controller, I'm ignoring the fact that I'm not enjoyer. And then I constantly come back to these points and I control, and I actually think that I'm this body, I'm the temple president, I'm Martian, I'm guru, I'm this, I'm that. And at the same time, I wanna enjoy. Why? Because I wanna get this result. I wanna get this for Krishna, really. But if you want to get for Krishna, ask Krishna what he wants. Why is it Krishna sitting in the heart of every living entity from the time immemorial? And he's going to be sitting there if he wants your results. If he wants your results, why is he actually not sitting in your results? Because he's not. And he doesn't want your results. He doesn't want to see your big buildings. He doesn't want to see your projects because he doesn't care. All of this is just to keep people engaged, as Srila Prabhupada rightfully so said. So it's dangerous path, very dangerous path, and it leads to serious Vaishnava Parana.
I don't know. To you, to him.
It's okay. To everybody.
So it means that even from the beginning, nobody has to think that I can misuse this person for this project.
How did you stay? How did you stay in Krishna consciousness? Were you abused?
Abused.
I think you were. Anyway, you say, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but how did you survive for so many years? You are still pushing.
Krishna helped me.
Krishna helped you.
Yes.
But what do you think about what she said? I mean, this is really like on target, on time. She said, you cannot justify abuse with bhakti. This is heavy.
Yes.
This is heavy. For me, it's heavy to hear. We have this so much in our movement. Would you agree? Justify abuse with bhakti. Justify abuse with results for Krishna. What results? I want a building, you die, but I want to have a building and offer it to Prabhupada. But hundreds of people can die. But at least I have offered something to Prabhupada. This is heavy. This is not bhakti. So I think this is a very, very valid point. I mean, that from this ignorance, and as Mataji said, we have this misconception, and then this is how we behave with people, and we burn them out completely. But she will give a seminar about burnout, so I think these things will also be covered. Yes?
27.
You.
26, 27. Friday, last Friday in January.
26th, 27th, yeah.
Maybe just a small comment.
Mhm.
Maybe approve of this wrong conception of justify this is because yes, maybe in the beginning the devotees are pushing for buildings and projects, but right now, this 2017,
Yes.
who is in this project?
2018.
Sorry. Thank you. Nobody wants to live in that project because that mentality of exploitation is still there. And yes, many temples, many buildings, many farms, but who is working there for profit? Nobody wants. So maybe that's a proof how we know if the intention of build that it's bhakti or
It's corpus delicti, how you say, like tangible result. You can see the people have gone, yeah.
How can it be that bhakti is without a result? Because I like to clean this room, and then I said, bhakti depends on the result, and I make completely a mess. That's completely egal what I do. Bhakti is not. So bhakti.
Is it okay that she replies to this?
Then I don't clean this room, I mean completely a mess with bhakti. What's this mean? No.
With bhakti you make a mess.
Yeah. It all depends on the results.
Okay, so
What's that?
can she reply to this? Or?
Everybody can do what he likes.
No, that's not the point. It's not the point anybody do what they likes. But the point is why we engage people, how we engage people in Krishna consciousness. What is our motive? Is our motive their development, or is our motive to say, I have done this for Krishna and I don't care if people have gone, have left? So we want results, but what kind of results? We want a result that everybody develops their love for Krishna and devotional service also. But I think sometimes, many times, leaders or managers, they want results which are external, not internal. Otherwise, if the leader is focused on the internal result of your consciousness, of your love, you will be here. I mean, you are here, but somebody else who left, they would be here. But the result was something else. Some fame or some building or some book results also. So many books are there, people don't read them. They sometimes throw them. We have to tell them, please read or let us try to apply this. So the whole discussion is about who is more important, people or projects. Yes?
It says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes about that, so he gives answer to your question. Bhakti is completely independent. Bhakti doesn't depend on anything. So we need to be very careful by, acquiring Bhakti. And it says here, this is Madhurya Kadambini, as the Supreme Lord independently appears to the jivas by his own sweet will, so Bhakti Devi is also self-manifested and fully independent. And then he goes on to the whole explanation, how is she independent, what is the mercy, and so on and so forth. So Bhakti you come by. She is independent. But she resides in the hearts of Krishna's devotees. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't understand the philosophical point, when I say you, I mean me, if I don't understand the philosophical point, where Bhakti comes from pleasing Krishna's devotees. Now, Krishna is not goal-orientated. The real goal of every relationship with Krishna is Bhakti. But because Bhakti is self-manifested and independent, you can't buy her. You need to know the secrets of arts, how Bhakti comes. And it comes only through the service of his devotees. So it's a complex question. Bhakti is completely independent.
So how do we serve devotees if they are living? How we are serving
No,
them?
we are not. We are not.
They are living.
Yeah, we are actually not.
So many devotees.
We actually are carefully missing the point to actually understand what are we missing. And that's with every devotee leave, you lose the opportunity to actually understand his own devotion and nourish that. So it's very dangerous.
Okay, last point, then we have to stop. It's 9 o'clock.
I find a nice example for the example he gave with the sweeping. In the spiritual world, the gopis, they're sweeping the marble floor of the kunjas with their hair, even though there's no dust. So basically, they're not doing what they're doing with any motive or any result. I need to clean the floor. They just clean to make it. They do it with that intention to please Krishna, even though it's actually not necessary. And Krishna also mentions in the Gita that one who is realized in knowledge, he's neither jubilant when there's something pleasing, nor disturbed when there's something unpleasing. This is the whole problem that we are facing, I think, also in this regard, that when we want to have results, then we get jubilant when the result is there, and then the result becomes more important than the actual intention or the actually bhakti, the actually intention of the devotee. And if there is a failure and there's disappointment, and it again destroys the motive of the intention of bhakti, which is love. Love has nothing to do with the result. The result is just a part that comes, and actually Krishna is in control of that result anyway. So it doesn't depend on us, but it doesn't mean that we don't have this an idea that we get a result, because there must be a result. That's the natural cause of action. But the result is not, first of all, not dependent on us, and second, actually it should not disturb us, nor it should make us jubilant, because this has nothing to do with bhakti.